It's a double group race day coming up at Sha Tin this Sunday. Welcome to Racing to Win. We've got it all previewed for you right here, including a very special guest who also returns to the track this weekend. He's coming up very shortly. But the boys are in the studio, Paul Alley and Tom Wooden. Tom, there are plenty of highlights.
There are, Mark. Hello to you and to everyone. Of course, the Sprint Cup, where we've got the world's best sprinter, Ka Ying Rising, back in action with his regular pilot, Zac Purton. And he's also got the plum ride on Galaxy Patch, who I think can bounce back to winning form in the mile race.
We'll preview both of those shows, although in reverse order on Racing to Win today. Paul, the jackpots.
There's plenty of jackpots, actually. Races 2 through to 5, there's $1 million going into all those double trios, the second double trio through to the fifth double trio. There's also 3.8 million going to the 6-up win bonus. And also, if that's not enough, 1.5 million in both our feature races going to the quartet and first four merge pools. So there's plenty of money floating around.
There is plenty on offer. This is the meeting details for Sunday at Sha Tin. It's an earlier start time because we are taking a race from Japan, and the meeting details are as follows. It's meeting 58. A+3 course in USL 10 will take place on the turf, and there is that earlier start time, 12:45. Of course, the two races we focus on: race 5, the Chairman's Sprint Trophy, and race 7, the Sprint Cup, which will be the first of the previews coming up at 4:15 local time. But before we go any further, it's time now to introduce our special guest. Zac Purton returns to the saddle at Sha Tin on Sunday. And joining us right now is the man himself, Zac Purton, back from about a 7-week break. Zac, has that 7 weeks felt like about 7 months?
It has a bit, yeah. It's been very frustrating. It was disappointing. It was okay initially because I was going out and, spending a lot of time around Hong Kong at the restaurants and bars and, enjoying myself and, just being able to be a normal person, and that was quite refreshing to start with. But, you soon get sick of that, and then when you have to start losing weight and getting back on a diet, you can't go out, so there's nothing you can do, and then you start staring at the walls a little bit. And yeah, it's been a long few weeks, these last few weeks, but I'm ready to get back into it.
How do you feel the timing when you're trying to lose weight when you couldn't go to the restaurants?
Yeah, it's boring. All I could do really was drop the kids at school, pick them up, go to their sport. Wasn't really much I could do, to be honest. It was pretty boring, and that's what makes it as hard as what it was. Especially, all those horses I'd been spending months and months and months getting ready. They were racing when I was out, and then I've missed out on all the barrier trials the last 6 weeks as well, so I don't have that fresh batch of horses coming through either. So it was an unfortunate period of time, but it is what it is, and now it's time to get back on with it.
Can you talk us through the injury itself? Obviously, it was a broken toe, but how bad was it? You can be as gruesome as you like if you want to put a few people off their dinner, but the rehab on the toe itself and getting to where we are now.
Yeah, so it was weird. I thought I'd busted my ankle, to be honest. My ankle was in a lot of pain, and I had some ligament damage there, and my knee was sore, and my thigh as well, where I'd been run into, and I didn't realise my toe was a problem until they took the boot off, and my toe was basically just at a right angle, and I looked at it and I thought, oh, that doesn't look good. And then obviously the x-ray showed that it was basically, 3 bones that were just in 3 different places. They had to realign the toe, pin it back together, and then just allow it to heal. And, that takes time. There's not much you can do, especially when you got the pins in there, because I couldn't use the bone stimulation machine or anything like that. I just had to allow it to heal naturally until the pins come out. And even then I had the wounds, so I needed time for the wounds to heal. And then once they healed, then I could start to progress on with a little bit more intensive physio. But there's more than just the toe. You've got to maintain the strength around the other muscles within your legs. So I was in the physio every day, in the gym every day, doing a lot of leg exercises, upper body exercises, doing as much as I could until I could start to walk again and get back on a horse. But it's fine. It's a little bit uncomfortable, but it's okay. To be honest, my hip feels worse than my toe. It's been good. It's felt great the last 7 weeks, but as soon as I got back on a horse, just being in that position, it sets it off. So that's something I'm going to have to try and manage as well.
All right, we've got a very good horse coming up on Sunday in Ka Ying Rising. Let's have a quick look at the field for the Sprint Cup. It's race number 7. He is number 1. He's coming back from the 1,400 metres to the distance. He holds the track record over California Spangle. Helios Express has had 5 starts this season and been beaten by Ka Ying Rising every time. Magic Control's best form is at 1,000. And we've got co-partner Prance and Gorgeous Win both coming out of Class 1 racing. Paul, where do you see Ka Ying Rising sitting on the speed map?
Yeah, well, look, he's drawn 6 of 7, and the one that's drawn outside him is California Spangle. So it depends how those two jump. I mean, I know Zac can easily lead on Ka Ying Rising, as in the past, and he can tell us now. California Spangle, he can cross him. I thought co-partner Prance has got speed, so I think Zac can tell us, but I think it'd be either leading or sort of just outside the leader.
Is that a fair comment, Zac?
Yeah, there are a couple of different variables there. Magic Control has got speed. He might try and hold his position, but it just depends what Magic Control and co-partner Prance do. California Spangle, we know well. He hasn't been as quick out of the gates as he has been previously, so he might be on the back foot a little bit initially, but of course I'll be trying to press forward on him. But yeah, it's just a matter of getting out the gates and seeing what they're going to do.
Let's go back to the 1,400 metre win from him last time. You weren't on board, but would have been an avid watcher. Did you think the 1,400 was ever going to be a problem for him?
No, I didn't, and it was good to see him win in the fashion that he did, and especially to show the courage and heart that he showed. They went pretty quick through that early sectional, running 21.3, so that left him a little bit vulnerable, and there was that point here where everyone sort of had their heart in their mouth, where it looked like he might have been about to falter a little bit, but once he changed his leg, as he was challenged, he got away from them again, and if anything, he was the strongest horse on the line.
It's Helios Express chasing him home. Helios Express must be sick of the sight of him, Zac, because in the trial you rode Ka Ying Rising, Helios Express also finished behind him.
Yeah, that's Hong Kong, right? You get a horse that can sometimes dominate over these distances, whether it's a sprint, a mile, or a 2,000 metre race. And the set weight races, the best horse has that little bit of an advantage. But in this race, we have to give him 5 pounds, which we haven't had to do for quite some time, or the whole time I've been measuring up against him, to be honest. So that gives him a chance to be a little bit more competitive, but I would be surprised if he was able to threaten me too much.
So he was really spot on in that trial we just saw, Ka Ying Rising.
Yeah, he's in really good form. As David has said, he just goes home and eats up after every run. He's a pleasure to do anything with in the stable, every gallop, every trial, every race. He's done exactly as we wanted him to do, and he's in really good shape. His coat's glowing. He's starting to get some dapples. He's never had dapples before, and he's starting to get them. So, he could even be getting better, which is a really scary thing. He doesn't need to be any better, but he's handling his racing really well.
That's as scary as your story about the toe being at right angles during that unfortunate incident that you had. I'm going to let the boys off the leash now because you've got 9 rides, so straight back into it.
Yeah, I'm just looking at one of your earlier rides there, Zac, bottom up together. He's in Class 2. I know he's won in Class 2. I know you rode him in a bit of track work recently. He's up against Fast Network, another horse that you've actually ridden as well. How do you think he'll measure up against him?
Well, I was actually booked to ride Fast Network in a couple of weeks, and they reopened this race because they didn't have enough entries, and Dennis obviously then threw Fast Network in, so I was already committed to bottom up together, and it's going to be an interesting race. It just depends on the speed and how it's run. If it's run at a genuine speed, it suits Fast Network. If there's a little bit of tempo out of the race, it gives me the advantage. But yeah, I'd probably say Fast Network's probably got the edge over bottom up together a little bit there, so I'll need things to go my way.
You're riding Ka Ying Glory, who of course is the half-brother to Ka Ying Rising. You rode him in some track work the other day. How do you assess his chances on debut? All his trials look pretty handy.
He's a really nice horse. His only problem is he just wants to get on with things. He's really strong. He hasn't learned how to relax. He's not like Ka Ying Rising, who relaxes beautifully during the run. This guy's the complete opposite. He just wants to keep running through the bridle, and You know, it's not what you want to see in a horse, but it's very rare to see a horse pull as hard as he pulls and still be able to kick and lengthen and find the line like he's been doing in his trials. And Karras rode him there. Karras couldn't pull him up after the trial. The pony gave him a little bit of a race as well, trying to grab him to pull him up, but all it did was fire him up and set him back off.
What about?
So hopefully race speed just allows him to relax a little bit more, but he's not a horse that's got cheap speed. He feels like he's going to be a 1,400 metre miler when he can learn to relax. So I think the 1,200 is no problem for him.
What about Galaxy Patch going around in the mile? Tactics this week, because he's been getting out of his ground, sort of at the back of the field in these races where there's not a lot of speed. So what's the plan of attack this weekend?
Yeah, well, it's an interesting one. It's very hard, especially in Hong Kong. In our mile races, we haven't had much speed the last couple of years, and he's been sitting out the back, and it's really hard to come from as far back as he's been and be competitive. So I was thinking maybe they want to change the tactics a little bit, but reading the paper and listening to what Pierre has said, he wants the horse to relax, sit out the back and run home strong like he has been. So I assume that's what we're going to do.
La Forza, a last start winner, Zac, you did ride La Forza. The blinkers were on him here for the first time down the straight 1,000. Do you think he's improved quite a lot as a Griffin coming into this season?
Yeah, he's a different horse this season. Last season he was struggling a lot with bone pain. He was always really shinny, and Jamie had to sort of cuddle him and look after him and couldn't really train him as he would have liked to. But he's had that time off, and he'd come back and he's a different horse. He's doing his work now. He's eating up better. He looks better. First time with the blinkers that day. He did find the outside rail, which had been like a lightning there for 2 or 3 meetings. So that did help and aid him with the false rail up on the weekend. It's not going to be a fast lane down there. It's going to be a more even track, and horsepower has been going really well. So it's going to be a tight race, but La Forza feels really good. I've been on him in the mornings, and I think he's racing as well as he has in his career.
It's a great book of rides, Zac. Outside of Ka Ying Rising, though, is there one that you're maybe a little more keen on than the others?
I'd just be happy to walk away with a couple of winners. That's all. I'm not sure the boys are going to be happy to see me back in the room, but I'm going to be happy to be back out there.
What about for the rest of the season? What would you like to achieve between now and season's end?
Oh, it's just the same things, right? You know, we've got the Champions meeting coming up. Hopefully I can be competitive there, get up over 100 winners as quick as I can, you know, steal the championship, all those cliche things. But yeah, I just want to try and get back into it. Like I said, I missed all those horses I've been preparing. I haven't been at the trials recently, so it's going to be really hard to bounce back into things. There are some trainers that are happy to put me back on early. There are other trainers that want to see me out there riding again and riding well before they give me opportunities again. So they clearly have forgotten about what I've done in my career here. But that's the nature of Hong Kong. So I just need to build my book back up and hopefully finish the season off strong.
Well, enjoy being back out there Sunday, Zac, and thanks for joining us on Racing to Win.
Thanks, guys.
Great to have him on the show. Zac Purton. Paul, onto the selections for the Sprint Cup. Who runs 2nd, 3rd and 4th?
Yeah, Ka Ying Rising to win, obviously. That says it speaks for itself. Helios Express, Lucky With You, and California Spangle. Not going too far outside the square there.
And I can't argue with that as well. Ka Ying Rising to beat, of course, Helios Express, who's been the bridesmaid numerous times now. Lucky With You and California Spangle.
There we go.
Easy as that. That's the first part. A busy start to Racing to Win. Back with plenty more right after this. Welcome back to Racing to Win. Still plenty more to come on the show. We start though, Paul, of course, with your last run reminder. And who have you come up with for this episode?
A horse called Max Q. Now, he goes off in race number 8. Unfortunately from his drawn barrier number 14, he doesn't have much luck with the draws, this horse. But look, he was slow away there, as you can see, like half a stride slow. And he was restrained back in this particular race. He's only had the limited starts here in Hong Kong, has Max Q. Now, they did go sort of close to standard there, only 0.14 of a second faster. So he still lasts there on the turn, and he does make some really good eye-catching ground for second. You can see him sort of held up there. He'd lost sort of momentum. He's just starting to get going there. Went back to the inside, and once the sort of the gaps opened, he was very willing partner to take those gaps. And you can see him come through. And the best part of it was this last 150 metres where he really flattened out, couldn't quite peak back the winner, but a good run. So it wasn't far away at all. Nice run from Max Q.
It was race 8, number 5. He's a member of the Mark Newnham stable, and Luke Ferraris will take the ride on Max Q. On to the second of the Group 1s, which is actually the Group 2s, I should say, which is actually the first of the Group 2s because it's race number 5. We've got Beauty Eternal, a 4-time course and distance winner. Bitty Joy, 3-time course and distance winner. Galaxy Patch coming back from the 2,000 metres. As is Cheng Cheng Glory. First time over a mile for Ensued. Everything else has been further. Red Lions placed a 3 from 8 when it comes to course and distance. Straight Aaron's best form is over further distance. Down to moments in time, Nimble Nimbus, and Sunlight Power Paul comes into group company for the first time, and he's a very promising horse.
He is. He's on trial for Champions Day, actually. Look, Beauty Eternal has led all the way in the past. He doesn't seem to be a standout leader here. Moments in Time hasn't led at all this season. Cheng Cheng Glory is a possibility if they want to be positive with him. Red Lion's drawn wide, but there is pace underneath him. It shoots back in trips. Sunlight Power doesn't lead. Happy Together will look for cover. And the other 5 horses get back. So tactics will be interesting in this race.
Past winners of this race up now, Tom, and it's Beauty Joy who won it last year, and Brenton Abdullah rides him this year once again.
Yeah, he does, and he's drawn barrier number 6. He actually raced a bit fiercely last time out. He had been better behaved in recent starts apart from last time out. California Spangle the year before, of course, he's on the list there. Golden 60, Mighty Giant, Ricky Yu, and Beauty Generation going down to 2021 at a couple of years in a row there for John Moore, Zac Purton.
As we move on, Paul, to Galaxy Patch. Now, this is 2 runs ago in the Stewards Cup, so the same distance as the race on Sunday. Voyage Bubble is right through his form line. He beat him, of course, first up, and then he's been behind Voyage Bubble. But where's he at the moment, Galaxy Patch?
Well, he won fresh up this season in the Group 2, and he looked really good. And then he's sort of plateaued out a little bit, I thought. Since I mean, he's been in the Group 1s. He's been up against the top horses, so he comes back to Group 2, so he's got a chance to improve. He just hasn't shown that really electric speed we saw last season.
He's clearly not been as effective. Interesting when we had Zac on earlier to say, obviously, sounds like Connections want to ride him back again. I want to see them take the opposite here with him because he's a horse that's been giving them too much of a start. He hasn't been able to reel them in. I think they've got to roll the dice and try something different because what they have been doing isn't working.
It's not at all. It just hasn't been running on at all. So that's Galaxy Patch. Our focus now is Ensued, and he's going to be ridden by Karis Teaton. First of the Group 2s, your partner with Ensued once again, a horse you've had group success on in the past.
Yeah, he's going to be an interesting runner over the mile. He's been running really well this season. He's done nothing wrong. I thought his last performance was great. Finished off really good behind Bubble. Looking forward to riding him.
Such an open race, this one too. Back to 1,600 metres. Might you vary the tactics with him, or you just wait to talk to John?
Yeah, of course, we'll have a chat with Mr. Size maybe tomorrow or so. But, of course, it will be his first time running over the mile. So it's going to be interesting how he handle it. But he's a tough horse, whatever you throw at him, he can respond. So he's always out there trying his best. Like you say, it's an open race. So if he gets a bit of luck from that run, I think he's going to be finishing off pretty strongly.
He's had 2 trials between starts. Were you happy with them?
Yeah, his trial was good. He's taken all of them pretty well. He felt great. He's in good shape. I'm actually pretty confident that he's going to run a great race.
That is Karis on Ensued. Tom, we can keep the focus on him now amongst others because he's in our first replay along with the consistent Cheng Cheng Glory, who actually won the Centenary Vase. Ensued placed, and there's quite a few others lining up from this race onto Sunday.
You got Happy Together, of course, ran 5th in this race last year as well. Not sure where Nimble Nimbus sort of fits in the moment. He ran 4th in this race, of course, last year as well. But Cheng Cheng Glory has to be amongst the top contenders here. Last time out, he was a little bit one pace, but he did cover some ground in that first turn, Paul, in the Gold Cup there, so did have a little excuse. But this sort of contest, course distance, right up his alley for sure.
Yeah, look, he's such a likeable horse because he always tries hard, does Chang Cheng Glory. He's either, he could lead, he could be right on the pace there, so he could get a first run on a few of these horses.
And this is certainly his go when it comes to the distance. He is a horse that's won a stack of races over the 1,600 metres. Red Line and Beauty Eternal, Paul. This is the Queen's Silver Jubilee. How do they fit into this race?
I don't like the draw for Red Line. Barrier number 12. There is a lot of pace underneath him, so that worries me a lot with him. Beauty Eternal, what are they going to do from 4? They went back here and he did run on nicely. This is probably the furthest he's been back in a long time. So I'm not sure what they're going to do tactics-wise with him, but from barrier number 4, he should be a little bit closer in the run.
Obviously, Red Lions, all of his victories have been over 1,400 metres. I think they might go back with Beauty Eternal because he ran a better race their last time out, so wouldn't shock at all. Now, he has missed some track work. He had an infection in the left fore on the 16th to the 19th of March, so missed work there. Trialled up okay the last lot of trials that he was in, but I think they'll go back with him.
Okay, this is an important announcement on a Beauty Eternal there from Tom. We've got Sunlight Power here, Tom, who has certainly earned his shot at Group Company. He's had plenty of bad luck along the way, but he's still been able to produce some fine performances.
He was too strong this day over the trip of 1,600 metres on what was a good yielding track after we had that torrential downpour through the meeting, and he was decisive here. He put them to the sword at the 200 and cleared out. Does want to do a little bit wrong still. You can see him wanting to get on one rein and lay in. Big step up for him, Paul, but think he can fill the frame for the top 4?
Yeah, I've got him in the numbers. And look, if they're serious about a QE2 Cup run for him, then he'd want to be winning this.
That is a breakdown. Are you with your old favourite, Chang Cheng Glory?
Yep, stick with him. Chang Cheng Glory, I think he's just going to be in the perfect position from Sunlight Power, Galaxy Patch and Beauty Eternal, 4-12-3-1.
Galaxy Patch on top. I think Zac's the man to change the fortunes on this horse. Wouldn't shock if they go forward with him. So tactics will be key. Sunlight Power, Chang Cheng Glory and Ensued. 3, 12, 4 and 5.
There you have the preview for the 2 Group 2s here on Racing to Win. A reminder, all of the races are on the website, race by race preview at hkjc.com. Click on audio and video. Of the 10 races, Paul, which have you chosen as your best?
One we've just talked about, we'll go with Chang Cheng Glory. Should be a good price with Galaxy Patch in the race and also with the other horse, Sunlight Power. So he's the best. As far as the value is going to concern, race 8, number 8, pair of 8s, California Blitz. Now, doing the speed map for this, there's no horses that like to go forward in this race. He's the one that's probably been more forward than most. This was his first start over 1,400 metres, never gave it away at all, and just got pipped for 4th in the end, and he was 145 to 1 here this afternoon. This is only his 3rd start, so limited starts. I think he can improve at a price. And as far as the play goes, wait for the lucky last with Magnificent 9, Storming Dragon and Another World, a QQP.
Best for me comes up in the first 2,000 metres for Mission Strike, the son of Dundeel, that should see him go close here off this performance at Happy Valley last time out behind Beauty Alliance, who of course ran in the Derby and made some good ground. He's been knocking on the door, has this horse for Mark Newnham, and I think he can win the first on the program over the 2,000 metres. The value, Dashing Powell, he was a decent price at his debut and made up plenty of ground towards the inside. He's race 4, number 6, Cody Moe and Matthew Poon. And Cross-Border Pegasus will stand him out with Chateau Neuf Unlucky, Sunny to Best and Call Me Gorgeous.
Best bet, race 10, number 8, Another World. Really nice horse, this one. Barrier number 6, coming back in trip. He's got a great record over the distance. Going Endued, been unlucky. He's bolted in a trial up at Chung Fa. Brenton Avdulla rides him for Jamie Richards. And the play, Endued, South Star and Max Q back in race number 8 in a QQP 2, 3 and 5. Big day Sunday. Looking ahead to after that, we've got Happy Valley returning on Wednesday night, Tom, and then further Sha Tin racing on Sunday the 6th.
Yeah, we're moving into April, of course, and that means we're not far away from Champions Day, the JRA Trophy coming up Wednesday night.
Yeah, and look, it should be King Miles coming to Happy Valley for the first time. We'll see how he goes because he's been running pretty well at Sha Tin.
He has indeed, but that has been Racing to Win on a busy show. Big thanks to the boys, both Tom and Paul, and thanks to you as well. We'll see you at Sha Tin on Sunday, 12:45 the first on a day where Ka Ying Rising reunites with Zac Purton.